All right, welcome again to the Python class. Today is another day, another thing to talk about, and obviously we're going into string literals. But before then, let me remind you of what we did last. The last video, we talked about raw strings, and if you recall, I said this is particularly useful when you're dealing with file systems and when you're dealing with maybe web scraping. You want to scrape some particular website, that would be very much useful. And we also talked about a particular rule that you should bear in mind when working with raw strings. And that rule is that you cannot end the raw strings with an odd number of backward slash. Otherwise, it will scream at you, just as it's screaming at me now. All right, and that was where we stopped. Today, I want to talk about string literals. So, you visited some systems, right, where you see on the screen. I'll just give an example. For instance, maybe you've used an ATM, and when you visit the ATM, you see that system. It tells you, "Welcome to so and so bank. Please enter your card. Please insert your card," and then it asks you to enter your password. So I'm just going to pretend like we are the developers. We want to develop an application for that bank. Now, just as we've been taking a look at strings for some time now, you know that it's possible, and perhaps if you do not know, now I'm telling you that we can do something like welcome to demand bank, and I can have a quote, a new line there, and have another new line, and say we are always happy to serve you, and then I have an exclamation there, and we can still have another new line and say thank you for banking with us. Thank you for banking with us. All right. And the expected output, just before I run it, would be that welcome to demand, and I think I should put this in capital letters so that it sounds like it seems like a bank. Okay, so welcome to demand bank. We are always happy to serve you. Thank you for banking with us. And this is the output. It prints out welcome to demand bank, then prints out two blank spaces, which is what we have here. If you've been following from the beginning of these text videos, we are always happy to serve you. That's another line, and then it introduces a line in between, which is this new line. That's a blank line. And then we have this thank you for banking with us. Let me run this and just so you see what we have. Welcome to demand bank. We are always happy to serve you. Thank you for banking with us. Now, as you can probably tell, that across time, this might not be easy for me to manage, because if you look at this, I would start, if this text continues, I will need to start looking for where all these \n, where they are. And one thing about programmers is that programmers are lazy people. I'm sorry to say that. And by what I mean by lazy people is that the reason I say we are lazy people is simply that we try as much as possible to look for the best way to solve problems. And that's because we don't want to go through the long route. And so this is a long route. And long in the sense that it's going to be difficult for us to manage this, to maintain this later in future. So what do? That is where string literals come in. So I'm going to talk about this in a very short moment. So this is how it looks. So when I do this, I can have, remember that in using strings, we can have a single quote or a double quote. But whenever we have this quote, 3 times before and 3 times after. What we are saying is that we want to output what we have inside that quote, inside this string literal. We want to output it just the way it is. Now, this is different from raw strings, mind you, and don't be confused. I'll show you the difference just in a moment. So I can come here and say, welcome to demand bank. I hit the enter twice. I say, we are always happy to help, happy to serve you. And then I say, thank you for banking with us. Now, what I've done here is the same thing that has happened here, but this is much more maintainable because, as you can see, this is clearer. I mean, I just have these 3 quotes at the beginning and then 3 quotes at the end, and I have all the text written out the way I want it. In fact, I think I'm going to show you something in just a bit, but let me print this out first. Yeah, I think I already commented that out. And so as you can see, we have this. Welcome to Demand Bank. We're always happy to serve you. Thank you for banking with us. And then we have 2 blank spaces here. But before I talk about these blank spaces, let's see something. Now, if we are to use this one here, and let me comment this out just a moment. We can move this thank you for banking with us. We can move it a little bit forward by using tab. Remember the tabs? Just like you're pressing the tab on your keyboard when you're typing in Microsoft Word or any other text documents that you use. So when you do this, let's see what we get as an output. As you can see, we have welcome to Demand Bank. We're always happy to serve you. Thank you for banking with us. Now I'm going to comment that again, and then I'm going to uncomment this one. Now I want you to see something here that I can now use tab. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. I can use tab on my keyboard as it is, just like this. And so I do not need to do the /T. I'm just typing. Just think of this part of the code as though you are typing in Microsoft using a text editor, maybe like Notepad, or you're using Microsoft Office Word, whatever text editor you use. Just think of it like this. Now I'll hit the tab 4 times, and just in case you don't know, I hit the tab on the keyboard 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I try to print that out, as you can see, we have that tab here. So what does this mean essentially? This means that this is actually much easier. So when you have a large chunk of text that you would like to maybe give a prompt, maybe you're working on an application, for instance, and you want to first give the users an instruction. You want to print out an instruction. This would be useful for you. And as you've noticed, when I give you this, when I'm telling you these things, I'm also telling you how in reality you can actually put them into use. You can use these things. So one thing I would like to mention though here is that, as you must have noticed, there's a blank space before, and then there's a blank space after. So if you want to remove that blank space, the way to do that is, if I want to remove the blank space before welcome, I would put a / there. And I'm going to print that out now. And as you can see, it's now very close to this first output. And in fact, let me just remove that output. Or no, not that one. I think I was supposed to comment this one. So, and as you can see, we have welcome to Demand Bank. So this / here just removes the space I don't know if you notice that, but look at the space now. Just look at the space here. And I'm going to do it as well for this one. If you notice, we have two spaces here. This is one, and then this is another one. So we have two different spaces here. As you can see, that's one, this is another one, this is one. So I'll remove both spaces now, and the way to do that is a backslash here and a backslash before you close. And of course it could be right here. So if I try to print this out now, you can see we have just one space in between here, and there's no space here. And that's perhaps the one thing you should also take note of when working with the string literals. Now, notwithstanding, you can still use the escape sequences here. It's going to work, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, because why would I want to use the escape sequence when I'm using string literals? I've just easily just typed it out, like just hit the enter button to give me the new line that I so desire, instead of having to write this out. I mean, that's a misuse of, it's a misuse of character, I would say. So instead, rather than do something like this, I would say if you need a space in between, for instance, we are always happy to serve you, and thank you for banking with us. Just hit the enter button, because what you have here gets printed out just as it is. And let's run that, and you can see that there's a space in between. We're happy to serve you, and thank you for banking with us. And this is string literals. See you in the next video. And please, before you go, kindly remember to subscribe. Hit that thumb up button, because I know that this video has been helping you. Remember to turn on your notification bell, and do well to share this video with others. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.